Well, hello, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Coffee with Stephen. Once again, a remote broadcast. I am currently up in Solano County with Sandy and Kayvon. We're at a law enforcement conference where we're deploying some of our Orion technology, and I was asked to speak about why certain law cases end up getting dismissed to a group of law enforcement officers. Anyway, so far the conference has been absolutely fantastic. I do want to talk about this week's blog entitled "The Shootist." So last Wednesday, I was doing a semi-private CCW class, and I had this young kid in the class. He was awesome, extremely polite, very respectful. Generally speaking, a really good, solid young man. We get out to the range, and he's shooting, and he is awesome. I mean, this guy is unbelievably technically proficient, from his grip and his stance to the holes that he was putting into the target. The guy looks like he's been shooting for years. Now, contrast this with another two individuals that were in the class that were more seasoned citizens that really kind of looked at the entire thing as more of a nuisance, right? They got to go through this nonsense in order to get their CCW renewed. But they were. It's not that they weren't into the course, but clearly they didn't have the same level of expectation of what they wanted to get out of it as this other young man did. Anyways, out at the range, they could shoot. I mean, they were technically proficient. But when I, sometimes talk about recreational shooters versus gunfighters, they were squarely recreational shooters. Now, at the end of the shoot, I was talking to the kid. I said, "Man, you did great. How long have you been shooting?" And he looked at me and he said, "This is the first time I've ever actually fired live rounds." And I just looked at him and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" He said, "No, I took your pistol series courses and I've been taking transitions. I'm nervous about moving up to 4M." I'm like, "You're totally qualified to move up to 4M. You are shooting like an expert." I was utterly shocked that he had never actually put live rounds down range. But this is actually consistent with what we've seen before. People that train on a regular basis, even without having ever fired a live round downrange, just focusing on the fundamentals in our simulations, it naturally translates to incredible proficiency when out at the range. Now, contrast this to these other two guys who I asked them, "How often do you guys go to the range?" "Oh, all the time. We're at the range all the time." Well, they're at the range, but they're shooting independently. They're not operating under the watchful eye of a coach. They're literally just standing there putting holes into pieces of paper. And it showed because all of their bad habits are being driven into repetitive motion. And as a result of all that continual reinforcement of all those bad habits, they shot like crap. Okay, and what was amazing is that they were completely lacking any self-consciousness about this. And I had to admonish them. I'm like, "Guys, you carry guns outside of your home. You are supposed to be gunfighters. You need to be training constantly, consistently, repetitively, and with purpose. Why aren't you in our shop doing this on a repeated basis? And even if you're not in our shop, why are you not taking courses with other people? That's perfectly acceptable too, but you need to be training." Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the blog. As always, like I just mentioned, I want you to train constantly, train consistently, train repetitively, and train with purpose. Above all else, stay safe. Now, one thing that I have not done, and I probably should, okay? Number one, if you want to read the entire blog, you can go to our website at artemishq.com/blog on Wednesday. You can read that blog and every other blog that we've ever written. The other one is hit the subscribe button. So I noticed the other day, it looks like we've got a boatload of subscribers to the Artemis Defense Institute. This is great external validation, but I'd like to see that number grow as well. So if you haven't actually subscribed on this YouTube video, do it. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you and stay safe.